Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Recently I realized that I have now been working full-time as an artist and I've been fully self-employed for the last 6 months. And I thought that was an awesome milestone. I couldn't believe that so much time has gone by. So I thought that for today's video it would be fun to tell you guys a little bit about my journey and to give you guys 10 tips on self-employment and what to expect in the first 6 months. Before we get started, I just want to throw out a quick disclaimer. Remember that I am an artist and I chose kind of that path, and that was the brand and business that I really wanted to make for myself. You might be interested in doing something different, whether it be photography, blogging, writing, you name it. If you're interested in starting your own business, these tips will apply to you, but please remember that everybody is on their own path and in their own different journey in life, and these are just some tips that I have found helpful personally over the past 6 months after I quit my job and decided to run at this full force. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first tip that I want to share with you guys is tip number 1, plan ahead. Now, whether you have been thinking about this for a long time or if it's something that you kind of just felt like you wanted to start doing, you need to be thinking about kind of the big picture and how you're really going to make all of your plans come into action, how you're going to make your dreams happen. Now, there have been many times at my old job where I just wanted to just rage quit and just be done, and you know, that's not always the wisest decision. I feel like in order for you to start something to be successful, you need to kind of be thinking about it for a while, plan ahead. Personally, for me, I set aside a little bit of money and every time I got paid, and I had enough to make sure that I could kind of sail through that first year. Even really is going to be really hard, and it's going to, like I said, it works for everybody differently, but definitely need to have a plan when you're starting out. My second tip kind of goes off of tip number 1, and that's be realistic. Now, it's easy to sit there and think, wow, I'm going to start a business, this is what I'm planning, and I'm going to make it happen. But in reality, things don't always work according to plan, and we need to sort of be realistic about the goals we set for ourselves, make sure they're attainable, make sure they're actually reachable, and give yourself an appropriate amount of time in order to make those goals happen. For the third tip, have a backup plan. Now, this is something that is kind of, not everybody really wants to hear this when they're trying to reach for their goals and start up their own business and everything, but just in case things don't work out how you're hoping for them to work out, it's important to have a backup plan. Whether that be having your old job that you could go back to if things get really hard, or having a different way to supplement your income. I think it's just really important to always have a plan B, because you never know. If things don't happen as soon as you like and you start needing some money, realistically, you don't want to lose your home or, you know, get kicked out of your place. You need to be able to buy food. Have a backup plan. Tip number 4 is a really big one, and for anyone that's self-employed, and it's something that I've really been thinking about before I took the leap into self-employment, and that is to think about your taxes. So when you're self-employed, taxes get a whole lot more difficult, and since this is my first year being fully self-employed, I don't have that full year's worth of experience just yet, but what I can tell you is I've had to make several larger purchases, studio equipment, really anything you need to start up your business. For me, I'm an artist, so I needed a camera, I needed studio lighting to record, I need paint supplies, I need all different supplies for shipping, printers, stuff like that. That all adds up, and if you don't save the receipts, then you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble when tax time comes around the corner. Thankfully for me, I haven't had a lot of times where I've had to use my vehicle to drive around and everything. I work mainly from home and I can ship things just from my house, so that has been really helpful. But definitely keep a log. Something I'm going to be doing is to keep a notebook in my car. I know there are a lot of apps that help you with this too, but I'm one that gets overwhelmed by all of the apps and I always forget to use them. And I'm just a paper person. It always helps me to remember and focus, and I'm a visual person too, so that probably plays into it. But what I'm going to be doing is to get a notepad and to leave that in my car, and then whenever I'm making a trip to the post office, to the bank, anything related to my business, I'm going to be charting down the mileage and keeping track of all of my receipts. It's also important to keep a folder in your email, I found, and to put all of your email receipts in there, because we get I do a lot of online shopping for my business, so it's just the easiest way to go since I live so far from the stores in the cities. So I've kept a folder in my email box that says, it's strictly for business, and I put all of my receipts in there, so come tax time, I easily can find those and look them up and use those for my taxes. I also have a actual file. I can't think of words right now. I actually have a file where I put all my receipts that I buy in person too. Yeah, but definitely keep track of your receipts and everything for taxes. It's going to differ with everybody and what exactly your business venture looks like, but even for my website, I made sure to keep that email that said the amount that I paid for it, and yeah, all of that stuff. Very important to keep track of. So tip number 5 is, all of these are important, I feel like, at least to me. Tip number 5 is to be patient. So personally, I've already been in the full-time artist life route for the past 6 months now, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Things have been improving and picking up, but it is a very slow and steady pace. So in order to be successful, I feel like you need to be patient. Keep doing what you're doing. Be patient. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to become a YouTube star or a famous blogger or whatever. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and you need to be cognizant of that. Tip number 6, focus on your goals. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. For me personally, again, a lot of this has been relevant to me over the past 6 months. I like to keep a vision board right next to my computer. So whenever I'm doing computer work, and let's say if I'm feeling discouraged or I feel like things aren't working out the way I want them to, I can look up at my board and I can see all of the things that I want to accomplish, all of my goals and all of the things that I want to manifest in my life. I made a post about this actually on my social media earlier today. I'm not somebody that is a big believer in kind of the new age, law of attraction and that sort of thing. I feel like just putting your ideas and what your wishes and your dreams out into the world doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen. But what I do believe in is the value of hard work. I feel like having those goals in front of you every day, where you're able to sit there and you're able to focus on what you want to accomplish, it keeps it fresh in your mind, and throughout the day where you maybe would just be scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, maybe you decide to put that aside and do a little bit of work because you were reminded of your goals. And I feel like that has been something that's been very true to me, to see my goals and constantly get reminded of what I want and reminding myself that I need to work hard to achieve them. Tip number 7, create a weekly schedule or daily routine. So for me, when I first quit my job, I was working as a waitress, and I worked Monday through Friday, and I had a very set routine schedule. So it was and I worked in the morning too, so it was very weird for me after I finished that last day of work to be at home on, a Thursday morning or whatever day it was, and to I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm somebody that always likes to stay busy too, and just having all of that free time all of a sudden was overwhelming. And since I was just starting off my business and really trying to get things running, there was so much to do. I was overwhelmed and I didn't know how to start or what to do. So the first thing that I did is I wrote a blog, and that was really how I spent my first day, just kind of recognizing my feelings and It was an amazing feeling, but at the same time I felt overwhelmed. So what I had start to do in the weeks after is to plan out each day. I would have a certain thing that I would do. So I still do this now actually. So on Mondays for my art, I have an art related blog that I will post on my website. And then after that I will try to do some painting or planning for a new painting and whatever kind of administrative work. I've been fluctuating the schedule as time's gone by just to kind of make things more productive. And then every Tuesday I would do things for my Patreon. I would do my sketches, get reference materials, make sure I had a rough draft. Wednesday would be my work in progress day, so I would have to post on social media about the painting or the piece I was currently working on. In order to make that happen, I needed to have a piece in the works. So it really kept me on point and always kept my gaze at what I wanted to accomplish throughout the week. Thursdays I would write another blog and edit my videos, make sure they're up for YouTube on Friday. And then Friday I would do whatever work I needed to do, whether it be shop updates, fulfilling orders, stuff like that. So it's really important to schedule your week out and your days in advance so that you know what to do and you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Tip number 8 is work hard. So I can't stress enough this one. You need to work for it. If this is something that you kind of feel like you want to do but you don't want to work for it, it's probably not going to happen for you. I don't know, I'm just being honest. With some people I'm sure it just kind of does happen for them, but that's really not very likely. I feel like in order to reach our goals, we need to constantly have them in front of us and we need to be looking at how we're going to achieve them. What steps are we going to take in order to make that happen? There have been several weeks where I would spend before sunup to late in the evening working, and I would spend easily 70-hour weeks purely on work. And sometimes it has gotten overwhelming, but at the same time I know what my goals are and I know that if I don't work hard, I'm not going to be able to make them happen. Tip number 9, eliminate distractions. So personally, what I like to do during the day is to put my phone on airplane mode or on silent. I find it very distracting. All of those little things, especially when you work on social media, if you can find yourself just scrolling and then you don't even know what you were doing on there in the first place. I feel like we've become so tuned to just mindlessly scrolling through pages and websites and we don't even know what we're doing, but then when we look at the clock, half the day is already gone by. So for me, having the structured schedule, I do take breaks, that is important, but I have my phone and all of the other things that I could get distracted with just at a minimum during my working hours. The last tip, and I said a lot of these are very important, tip number 10, this one is probably the most important, is do not give up. I'll repeat that, do not give up. If your vision and your goals are to be self-employed, to be a full-time artist, to do any line of really creative work, or if you want to open a shop or retail, something like that, you need to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to? How can you expect anyone else to believe that you can make your dreams happen if you don't believe in yourself? A huge part of that is to not give up. There have been so many times where I have felt like my art and my work has been going nowhere. I had felt that I've spent so much time throughout the week putting in work that nobody sees and nobody notices. And yes, that is very hard, but at the same time, I know that I have goals and I have a dream, and if I don't work at it and put in the effort and believe in myself, then it's just not going to happen. And it became not only about doing it for myself, but for all of those other people that want to do and achieve similar things. They have been looking up to me too, and I've known that I need to keep doing it. I can't stop now, and I won't stop. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit different. I really wanted to kind of recognize that 6-month milestone and share my excitement with you guys, and also my thanks to you, because If it weren't for all of you and the support that I had received over these past several months, I wouldn't probably still be here. I really just appreciate you guys so much. So thanks for tuning into today's video. If you liked it, then hit that like and subscribe button. I do a lot of art related videos, painting processes. I'll be getting into more tutorials and stuff in the future, as I feel like I know enough to show you guys tutorials. I also do a lot of wellness related videos, and I'm hoping to do a bunch of other lifestyle related stuff too. So yeah, just a jack of all trades. So hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.